All right, let's just jump right in. What if I told you that you could unlock the very core of the Chinese language? Not by memorizing for years and years, but just by understanding three simple patterns. Seriously, this is the difference between freezing up mid-sentence and actually building fluent sentences on the fly. And today, we are going to crack that code. I mean, this probably sounds super familiar, right? For so many of us, learning Chinese feels like a memory game. It's just endless lists of words, drilling sentences, forgetting them, and then you drill it all over again. It's this super frustrating cycle that just leads to you getting stuck, unable to even get a simple thought out. But here's the secret. The thing they don't always tell you, Chinese isn't random at all. It's actually one of the most logical languages on the planet. Turns out, after basically reverse engineering thousands of sentences, just three core patterns generate a whopping 80% of everything you'll ever need to say in daily conversation. Once you see these patterns, you can stop memorizing, and you can finally start building. Okay, so let's get into our first one. Pattern number 1, which I call the blueprint. Now, when you first start out, grammar can seem, well, terrifying. You're probably imagining hundreds of complex rules and tables you have to memorize. But the truth is, you don't need any of that. You just need one single, simple structure. Think about English. You can move words like yesterday and at home all over the place, and it still makes sense. Chinese, on the other hand, is much, much stricter. But, and this is the key, that rigidity is actually what makes it easier to learn. There's one correct order, and that's it. Subject, then time, then place, then the verb, and finally the object. You just follow the blueprint every single time. So this is the acronym you need to burn into your brain. STPVO. Subject, time, place, verb, object. This is like the unchangeable DNA of a basic Chinese sentence. It is the foundation for absolutely everything else we're going to talk about. And hey, here's a really cool way to remember the logic behind this. Just think like a movie director. What do they always yell before a scene? Lights, camera, action. You see? You always have to set the scene first, the time and the place, before the main action, the verb, can happen. Chinese grammar follows that exact same cinematic logic. This is how you can finally stop trying to translate word for word from English and just start building sentences from scratch. It's kind of like playing Mad Libs. You've got 5 empty slots. You just pick a subject, plug in the time, set the place, choose a verb, and name an object. Boom, done. You're not mirroring English grammar. You're just slotting information into a solid, fixed framework. Okay, so you've totally mastered single action sentences using the blueprint. But real life is way more complex than that. So let's move on to pattern 2, which builds on the first, the action chain. This is all about how you connect multiple ideas together just by narrating reality as it happens. And this is the natural next question, right? How do I say something like, I went home to sleep? Our lives are just a string of actions, one after the other. So how in the world do you connect multiple verbs in Chinese without the whole sentence just falling apart? Well, this is a huge trap for English speakers. In English, we use all these tiny little connector words like to, by, with to glue our ideas together. I like to call these ghost words. They exist in English, for sure, but they have no direct equivalent in Chinese. And if you try to translate them, you'll just get stuck searching for a word that literally doesn't exist. The Chinese solution is just beautiful in its simplicity. You just list the actions in the exact order they happen in real life. That's it. Take a look at this sentence. I flew to China to see my friend. What happens first? You have to board the plane. What happens next? You go to China. And what happens last? You see your friend. Chinese grammar just stacks those verbs up in that precise chronological order. Here is another perfect example of this. In English, we say, I eat with chopsticks. The tool, the chopsticks, comes at the end. But think about what happens in the real world. What do you do first? You have to use the chopsticks, right? Then you eat. So Chinese says exactly that. I use chopsticks, eat food. It literally just narrates reality as it unfolds. No ghost words necessary. All right, we have our scene set with the blueprint, and we have our sequence of events with the action chain. Now it's time for the final and maybe the most powerful pattern of them all, the time filters. This is how you're going to talk about the past, the present, and the future without ever having to change or conjugate a single verb. This concept right here is what makes Chinese grammar so much simpler than people realize. I mean, in English, our verbs change form all the time. Drive, drove, driven. In Chinese, the verb never changes. Instead, you just add these tiny but incredibly powerful words called particles. The best way to think about it is this. Your sentence is a raw photograph. These particles are like Instagram filters. You just slap one on and it changes the entire context, the entire mood, without ever touching the original picture.
Okay, so these are the three main filters you're going to be using all the time. To show an action is happening right now, you use the particle 在. To show an action is completed, or in the past, you use 了. And for the future, you use 会. This little chart is basically your cheat sheet. The most important thing to notice is where each filter goes. That placement is the only rule you really need to remember.
So let's see this present tense filter in action. In English, the verb read has to change to reading, but in Mandarin, the verb for read, 看, stays exactly the same. You just pop that little particle 在 right before it to show the action is in progress. And what's cool is seeing how Cantonese does it. Same idea, different filter. The particle jin goes after the verb, so the concept is the same, just a slightly different rule. Now let's look at the past tense filter. In English, return morphs into returned ed. In Mandarin, nope. The verb doesn't change at all. You just add the particle 了 at the very end of the phrase to signal that the action is complete. It's like putting a little check mark on the action, saying, yep, this is done. And again, in Cantonese, you see the same principle with a different particle, 所, tucked right in after the verb.
And the good news is, the future is by far the easiest of the three. The particle 会 works almost exactly like the word will in English. You just place it right before the verb to show the action hasn't happened yet. And this one is super straightforward in both Mandarin and Cantonese.
So there you have it. You see the shift? You're no longer just memorizing random phrases and hoping they fit. You actually have a framework. This is all about understanding the underlying system so you can start building with it. And that, right there, is the three-pattern code. First, you use the STPVO Blueprint to set your scene. Second, you use the action chain to link your events together in chronological order. And finally, you apply your time filters to place that entire story in the past, present, or future. Together, these three patterns form a complete logical system for communication.
And that really leaves us with one final thought to chew on. When we're trying to learn a new language, especially one that's as logical as Chinese, maybe the hardest part isn't learning all the new rules. Maybe the real challenge is just unlearning the rules of our own native language and learning to see the world through a completely new grammatical lens.